I'm so excited to continue reading the Christmas Promise with you today. A long, long time ago, so long that it's hard to imagine, God promised a new king. He wasn't any ordinary king like the ones we see on TV or in books. He would be different. He would be a new king, a rescuing king, a forever king. And do you know what? One precious night, God kept his Christmas promise. Would you like to know how he did it? The Christmas story starts with an angel. Whoosh! He came from God to see Mary. The angel had a special message. Mary, you're going to have a baby. He will be a special baby. God promises that your baby is going to be king, not for a little time, but forever and ever. He will be the forever king. Mary was going to marry Joseph. So God sent another angel. Whoosh! He came to see Joseph. The angel had a special message. Mary is going to have a very special baby, the angel said to Joseph. Her baby is going to be king, and he will rescue his people. He will be a rescuing king. God had promised that his new king would be born in a little city called Bethlehem, and that's where Mary and Joseph went. But Bethlehem was very busy with lots and lots and lots of people. So when the baby was born, he had to sleep in a manger instead of a bed. All the other mangers in Bethlehem held food for hungry animals to munch. But this manger held a tiny baby. He was God's special new king. The shepherds in the field had such a surprise. It was quiet and dark, and the sheep were snoozing, when whoosh! An angel popped into the sky. Now the sky was bright, and the shepherds were so scared. But the angel had a special message for them. Don't be afraid. I have wonderful good news for you, the angel said. God's chosen king has been born tonight. He is going to rescue his people, just as God promised. He will be a rescuing king. Then lots and lots of other excited angels joined in to celebrate. The shepherds were really excited. They went rushing to see the new king. And there he was, laying in a manger, just as the angel said. But they weren't the only ones who had heard the good news about the promised new king. Some wise men living far, far away had also been sent a message. It was quiet and dark, and they were watching the stars when whoosh, a new star popped into the sky. The star had a special message. The wise men knew what it meant. A very special king had been born, the king of all God's people. This child was the promised new king. The wise men were so excited, so they went on a long journey to see the new king. And there he was, just as the star had shown them. A new king. So what makes this king new? He was a baby, a forever king, and a rescuing king. The people were still thinking this was a king that would save them from the Roman king. This was a king that would make the place they lived new again and give them hope for a better life. They were still thinking of a king on earth. This king was new, and he would rescue them. But they really didn't know the danger and pain they needed to be rescued from. At the time, there was a king. He was the Roman king. His name was Herod. He thought the same thing. He thought this new king was coming to take his place. He was so worried that when the wise men came looking for this new king on their journey, King Herod asked the wise men to tell him where he could find the new king. He was scared that this new king would take over his kingdom. But this king didn't come to be an earthly king like Herod. He came to be a new kind of king. You see, all of us, the shepherds and wise men included, sin. Sin is anything we think, say, or do that does not please God. We all follow our plan instead of God's plan. We all go astray, and when we go astray, we are separated from God. This new king came to rescue the shepherds, the wise men, and us too. He came to bring us back and give us a way to be friends with God, not enemies separated from him. That was a new idea for them. And they don't know that the king was much more than a man. He was God's own son. Now that is really new. We see this in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believed in him should not perish but have eternal life. Next week, we will finish up the story. Be sure to come. We will see how this rescue happened for all of us.